If you work in compliance or risk management, you know the feeling. You see that certificate of insurance, and it's this weird mix of relief and a potential headache. Today, we're going to dig into why that first page, the one everyone relies on, is almost never the full story. Ah, yes, that phrase, the one that launches 1,000 follow-up emails. We've all been there, right? It's that moment of professional dread when you know the summary looks totally fine, but the real story, the one that actually matters, is buried somewhere else completely. So here's the key thing to wrap your head around. Just think of the certificate of insurance as the cover of a book. It gives you the title, maybe a cool picture, but that's about it. The endorsement, that's the actual story inside. It's the handshake versus the fine print. And we all know that fine print can change everything. All right, let's get into why treating that summary page like it's the gospel truth is such a massive trap. Now, what's really fascinating here is that most of these compliance blowups, they don't happen because a vendor has zero insurance. No, they happen because the insurance they do have has been tweaked, modified in some critical way that you just can't see with a quick glance at that certificate of insurance. And this right here is the perfect example. Your certificate of insurance looks amazing. It checks the box, additional insured, yes. Fantastic. But then, deep in some attached endorsement, there's a little clause that says that status only applies while the work is actively going on. The second that job is done and a claim pops up from that completed work, poof, that coverage could be completely gone. And that is a very, very expensive misunderstanding. This is such a key insight, you guys. The problem, that little limiting clause, that exclusion, it was there from day one. It was in the documents when they were first uploaded. It wasn't a new risk. What was new was your team's ability to actually see it, which, let's be honest, often happens way too late, like during an audit, or even worse, after a claim is filed. So, if the certificate of insurance is just the summary, where do we actually go to find the details that really define what's covered and what isn't? It all comes down to this one thing, the endorsement. You can think of it as an official amendment to the insurance policy. Now, it can add coverage, which is great, but let's be real. In our world of compliance, it's more often used to restrict or change the terms. This is the document that can make what the certificate of insurance seems to say completely different from the reality. Okay, so knowing you need to check endorsements is one thing, but actually doing it, especially when you have hundreds of vendors, that is a whole other story. The manual process is, well, it's a mess. Come on, does this look familiar? It's this painful, repetitive loop, right? You're opening these giant PDFs, scrolling and scrolling, hunting for one specific form that could be on page 3 or page 30. Then you can't find it, so you have to email the vendor. And then you do the whole thing all over again for the next one. It's a scavenger hunt where you don't even know what you're looking for. And let's be really clear here, good teams miss these things. And it's not because they're being careless, it's because the system is it's broken. There's no standard format, the forms all have different names, sometimes they're buried, sometimes they're in a separate file. And when you have a mountain of vendors to get through, this manual deep dive becomes pretty much impossible to keep up with. So when teams end up just checking what's easy to see on that first page and kind of hoping for the best, it's not a sign of a bad team. It's a survival tactic. It's what you do in a system that makes doing the right thing incredibly hard and time-consuming. But what if we could actually change that system? What if we could stop the frustrating hunt and just have a clear, simple view of what really matters? This is really where we get to a better approach. The whole goal is to flip this process on its head. Instead of information being buried, it becomes visible. Instead of being inconsistent and confusing, it becomes easily reviewable and simple to validate, without needing every single person to be a deep insurance expert with an hour to kill on every single file. I mean, just look at this direct comparison. It's pretty striking. On one side, you have that old, frustrating cycle of just hunting and guessing. Now look at the other side. The critical endorsement is automatically pulled up for you. You see exactly what page it's on and why it's important. You review it once, and you can follow up with total confidence. The difference is just, it's night and day. So what does this actually mean for your team's day-to-day? What are the real-world results of making this shift? Well, the benefits are super concrete, and they hit on all the biggest pain points. Your approvals move way faster, your decisions become consistent, it doesn't matter who's doing the review, you gain this massive confidence because you're spotting issues early, not months from now, and your follow-ups with vendors become so precise because you know exactly what you need to ask for. But the biggest win of all, it's cutting down on a rework. Think about it. That's all the hidden time your team spends rechecking a vendor that was supposedly good to go, or reopening an issue weeks later. By making the right information visible from the very beginning, you just eliminate that draining cycle of doing the same work over and over and over again. So we'll leave you with this one question to think about. Right now, in all those PDFs and attachments sitting in your system, what critical changes to coverage are just hiding there in plain sight? Because remember, the real story isn't on the cover page. It's always in the details.